Itugan ko, Diyos, ang kinabuhi ko. Sa matag-adlaw nga paglakad, dinining kalibutan mangiti, ikaw lamang ang saligan ko. Bisan pa kung ako napakyas, ang hugma mo wala'y pagkausap. Sa malisod na giyanan, gikutan mo ako giluwas. Lig-unon mo ang akong pagtuo, aron makabarog sa pagsulat. Hatagi ako sa imong grasya, ang kasalanan ko kuwat. Itugan ko, Diyos, ang pag-alagad ko. Ayaw itugot na mawala, bisan pa masiktit ang dalan, musalig ako sa saan mo. Itugyan ko ang akong kasing-kasing, putliya mga handong ko. Unya sa imong pagbalik, makaplagan akong nahingpit. Lig-unon mo ang akong pagtuo, aron makabarog sa pagsulat. Hatagi ako sa imong grasya, ang kasalanan ko kuwat. Hatagi ako sa imong grasya, ang kasalanan ko kuwat. Kanimo, Diyos, itugyan ko. Itugyan ko.
I'm here at Ormoc Sugar Planters Association Farmers Medical Center. This is one of popular places listed under hospital in Ormoc City. This is a premier hospital in town. My two kids were born here actually. It is located just a short distance away from the heart of the city, OSPA. One day, Elijah was summoned by the Lord to warn King Ahab of his punishment to him for serving idols and Baal. The Lord commanded Elijah to run away because King Ahab was furious towards him. He was outraged because his kingdom suffered drought due to the words of Elijah. In 1 Kings chapter 17 verse 1 says, Now Elijah the Tishbite from Tishbe in Gilead said to Ahab, "As the Lord of God of Israel lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years, except at my word." Elijah did not mention anything against King Ahab, but instead, he said, "There will be no rain for years except in my word." Commanding nature is not a normal thing to do. When you please God and serve Him and be a vessel of His message, God will give you the authority to perform miracles for others, or a miracle that God will accomplish in you. In verse 2 to 5 says, "Then the word of the Lord came to Elijah, Leave here, turn eastward and hide in the Kerith ravine, east of Jordan. You will drink from the brook, and I have directed the ravens to supply you with food there." So he did what the Lord told him. He went to Kerith ravine, east of Jordan, and stayed there. Ravens by nature is an abomination and not suitable for food, as mentioned by God in Leviticus chapter 11 verse 13 to 15. These are the birds you are to regard as unclean and not eat because they are unclean: the eagle, the vulture, the black vulture, the red kite, and the black kite, any raven. In verse 6 of the first king says, "The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning, and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook." It was a stunning phenomenon in which a bird fed Elijah just what the Lord promised him. Not only once, but twice a day the raven feed him. This miracle took place along the brook. The bird was feeding Elijah twice a day. I want to make a point, my friend. God will even use anything, anybody, whoever He wants to rescue His servants. Have you noticed that there are people out of your league, people outside of your bloodline, people who are not in your circle of friends, people you don't have connection with, people who are not close to you, or people who have different beliefs and points of view, yet rendered services to you. They even promoted you and showed kindness. Those are ravens. God commanded to give you comfort. You need to have the eyes of faith to see it. The ravens fed Elijah, according to the text, with bread and meat only twice a day. Why not thrice a day? Besides, we should eat 3 times a day. Does it make sense? The Lord made a diet menu for Elijah, with the raven as the waiter. It is God Himself who planned the provision to Elijah. Even before Elijah runs away, the Lord already arranged everything for him. His provision was all intact at the place eastward in the Kerith ravine, east of Jordan. Folks, you have nothing to worry about in your future. God already arranged everything for you. He is in charge of the provision so long that you remain faithful to Him and be a vessel of His message to this wicked world. Jeremiah even affirmed it. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Anything about your future is being set up smoothly by the Lord. Not that you will not experience hardship, because that is a normal process before you will be successful. You have to go through a lot of process and refining. Smoothly set up by God means that no matter how hard your struggle is, a bright future is already assured for you. The 2 meals diet was perfect. The Lord makes it sure that the 2 meals diet is enough for Elijah to leave. One famous writer in the name of Ellen G. White says in the Council on Diet and Foods, page 484, our plain food, eaten twice a day, is enjoyed with keen relish. We have no meat, cake, or any rich food upon our table. We use no lard, but in its place milk, cream, and some butter. My appetite is satisfied. My food is eaten with greater relish than ever before. Normally, 3 times a day or 3 meals a day is the basic day food consumption. Yet Elijah was fed only twice a day. In human eyes, it may not be enough, but God made it sure it is complete what Elijah needs. When God provides your needs, He will make it sure that it may not be what you are expecting or enough in your human eyes, human assumption, but it will be more than enough to what you need. Verse 7 and 8 says, sometimes later the brook dried up because there had been no rain in the land. Then the word of the Lord came to him. The brook dried up. Elijah maybe was in the question mood. Wait, why the brook dried up? Friends, that is normal. Earthly resources will dry up. Earthly things will soon vanish away. There is no permanent in this world. But if we look a little deeper, in verse 9 says, go at once in Zarephath, in the region of Sidon, and stay there. I have directed a widow to supply you with your food. God commanded Elijah to go to Zarephath because He provided food for him there. This is a clear story that no matter how limited earthly resources are, God's supply and provision will never run dry. Even if earthly provision runs dry, God still has a way to fulfill His promises to His faithful. Human resources run dry, but never God's provision runs dry. King David even made a testimony of his experience and how God faithfully provided His faithful. Psalms 37 verse 25 says, I was young and now I am old, yet I have never seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging bread. God is a God of wonders and miracles. There is no impossible in Him. He even created the world out of nothing. By His words, everything comes to life. By His words, all things existed. In His name, even disciples made wonders and miracles in His command. Matthew chapter 10 verse 1 and 7 says, Jesus called His 12 disciples to Him and gave them authority to drive out impure spirit and to heal every disease and sickness. As you go, proclaim this message. The kingdom of heaven has come near. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse those who have leprosy, drive out demons. Freely you have received, freely give. When you believe with all your heart and follow Jesus' words without question, He will fulfill His words right before your eyes. You will then experience a miracle that you cannot imagine. A miracle that will amaze you. I just can't imagine when Elijah listened to the Lord that the raven will feed him. One thing more, Elijah believes in God's word. Had it not been that Elijah did not follow God's instruction, he will not experience a miracle at the river, where the ravens is the waiter to serve him the best food God provides him. Friends, if you want to experience a miracle today, if you want to see a different story, if you want to get rid of your painful situation, if you want of healing from your sickness, if you want God's provision in your daily endeavor, and if you want security from troubles, You have to believe what He says in His words. You need to believe and follow His words before you will be led by the Lord to where your miracles are. You need to believe God's word of keeping the seventh-day Sabbath holy as recorded in Exodus chapter 20 verse 8 to 11. You need to believe God's word of eating the right food in Leviticus chapter 11. You need to believe God's word of obeying His 10 commandments found in Exodus chapter 20 verse 3 to 17. You need to believe God's word of returning the tithes belongs to Him in Malachi chapter 3 verse 8 to 10. You need to believe God's word of His soon coming, and that we need to prepare in Revelation chapter 22 verse 12. You need to believe God's words in the Bible, what is written without any prejudices. Then you will experience a miracle that you cannot imagine that will happen in your life. Great miracles demands great faith and obedience to His words. As you face the quest of your life every day and you are striving to win every battle that you are facing, remember, there is only one life. There is only one truth. There's only one life. In Him, there is miracle. In Him, miracle is possible. Good day.